Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44. So I'm coming to you today with a freestyle of type of video. I don't have any topic in mind whatsoever. But over the last couple of days, basketball-wise, I've just been able to have these rants that I haven't been able to record, or one in the shower. So I just figured if I turn on the monitor here, maybe something good will come out of me. And sometimes it's really healthy to just let the mind release. Tonight, the Lakers played the Grizzlies. They got a victory tonight. I saw highlights of that here at work. I haven't seen the game, obviously, but highlights. And one thing that was really sticking out in those highlights was just how well Anthony Davis's three-point shot is looking. I know they said that they wanted to have him shoot more threes. My thing is, Anthony Davis should be given the green light. Do whatever he wants. You do want to give him options, different plays and things of that nature, obviously. But the majority of what you want from Anthony Davis is just him, displaying his greatness and enforcing his will on whatever defense they throw at him. And tonight, I think he did a fantastic job of doing that. Unfortunately, the Lakers make the games a little more interesting than they had to. We had some key turnovers down the stretch. Even though our stars did what they were supposed to do offensively, defensively, and as far as holding onto the ball, particularly down the stretch of the game, last couple of seconds of the game, Braun had a turnover. Those type of things can really hurt you. What I'm sensing is, and I've watched a lot of basketball, paid attention to a lot of basketball, that kind of thing. It feels like this team is on the verge of a loss. What I mean by that is, when your team is playing well enough to beat teams that they're better than, but they're making key mistakes, it tells me that they're itching to lose. Not consciously, but more so like on a subconscious level, on a this is how we're playing level. You've just seen it so many times. Every great Laker team I've ever watched had these stretches where we would win games that we probably weren't supposed to win just because we were more talented than the other team. Or that the other team wasn't good enough to close the deal even though we were leaving the door open. And that's what I'm sensing in these last couple of games. We've just been leaving the door open for teams to come in and take a win from us, but we've been squeaking by with victories despite having bad sequences and things of that nature. So I would not be surprised if the Lakers drop the next game or next two games, or if some point in time within the next 3 games we lose a game, just because we've been playing more or less subparly while still being able to get away with victories. And eventually that catches up to everybody. Anytime that those stretches happen, eventually that team that's been just squeaking by catches a loss. So I'm looking at the Lakers and I'm saying, well, there's no reason to panic. There's not even really any reason for concern. This is just the ebbs and flows of a basketball season. We're just getting started. So I really don't have anything to say in terms of concerns and complaints. I'm pleased with the fact that the coaching staff has found a way to involve Talen Horton-Tucker into the regular rotation. We have had a few injuries that have kind of maneuvered that situation into being a case, particularly with KCP having an ankle. So that kind of moved the rotation a little bit into his favor. So it's just good to see him get out there. He's doing what he does in limited fashion. I do believe that we need to work our way into giving him bigger opportunities, bigger minutes, because I do think he's a high-impact player already. He's proven that in the preseason, and I think he would prove it if we were giving him 25, 30 minutes a game. Unfortunately, that's not realistic. Obviously, when you're playing with these type of players, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, there are sacrifices that are going to have to be made. A guy like Kyle Kuzma knows that better than anybody. But it seems like this season he's finding his comfort zone. And I hope that THT can do the same. Marc Gasol is an extremely talented player. I would like to see him get in better shape. I think his slow pace kind of slows us down a bit, but I think he has some things that he can help AD with. AD mentioned that he somewhere, again, with someone that Mark is helping him become a better passer. I thought that was a very positively telling statement in what Mark actually brings to the table. I've been on record saying I'd rather have JaVale McGee. I've been on record saying I would rather have Dwight Howard. But what I would like to say is I don't think JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard are players that are going to really facilitate your offense in any way, shape, or form. They're not unwilling passers, but that's not their game. You know? Now, Dwight has had some success passing the rock, particularly in Orlando, where he was, given a lot of attention and then forced to kind of make do with that attention by kicking out the shooters. So he's a very solid inside-out passer, but he's not a playmaker. He's not a center that you consider a passer like a Vlade Divac or somebody like that. Obviously, Jokic. That's not his game. Big Mark it is. That's definitely Big Mark's game. Both of the Gasol brothers are very, very great passers for their size, and you got to be extremely pleased at the ball movement situation opportunities that we get down there, particularly in the fact that we lose Rondo. Bringing in Marc Gasol kind of gives us someone that can also facilitate some. Not going to do what Rondo does at that level, but from the center position, you have someone on the floor that can make sure that everybody else goes. It makes others better. This makes your team cohesive. And as you guys, if you follow me, you know that's like my favorite aspect of the game. Like, there's nothing more I enjoy than seeing a guy orchestrate for others, dishing the ball all over the court. It's an art form that you don't see very often. Not many generations get geniuses that pass for a living, and we have a few in this era. And it's just been a sight to see, and I'm happy that I'm able to. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that. It's not all bad with Marc Gasol. That's the gist of what I'm saying. Trez's numbers are down. It's a sacrifice. Trez hasn't lost any momentum. He didn't get worse. There's nothing wrong with his role. It's just when you play with Anthony Davis, you're not going to get some of the looks that you got, some of the rebounds that you got with the Clippers. Clippers didn't have any bigs aside from Zubac. That was the only big they had. So when you're talking about the opportunities that Trez got, those opportunities may not be available on this team. And, it's okay because he's still doing what we want him to do. I would like to see him improve defensively from a schematic standpoint, because I think even though he's undersized, there's going to be some things he's just not going to be able to do. Some of the stuff that he does wrong out there is just like thinking stuff, reading and reacting, being in the right position, finding the right angles to position yourself to be in certain spaces to guard guys, stuff like that. It's like scientific stuff that can be worked out in the film room. So I hope that his tenure with the Lakers helps him improve, becoming a better defender. Frank Vogel is a fantastic defensive coach, so I think that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Trez to get better at thinking the defensive side of the ball. Because he really did struggle last year. Now, there's going to be certain one-on-one matchups you just don't let him have any say-so in. I don't want him guarding Joel Embiid. I don't want him guarding Jokic. I don't want him guarding Towns. Like, those are not good matchups for him no matter what. But there are things he could do in a team defensive, from a team defensive standpoint that I think can really, really improve. I think he can get better in those areas, and I believe that he's in the right place to do so. Yeah, that's one thing. Caruso is also out with an injury. Let that be known. He's missed some games, so we do miss his defense out there. But we're so deep that you just don't even realize that two of our top shooting guards are not down there. And that's the luxury of our team. That's why, aside from the fact that we have the two best players playing together, arguably, we also have the deepest team in the league. Even if you remove those superstars, you replace them. Let's just, for the sake of argument, replace AD and LeBron with two other superstar names. The team is still the deepest team in the league because of the depth. That has nothing to do with those stars. So you got to understand what a job Rob Pelinka has done down there just putting this roster together. So yeah, that's one thing. I just wanted to give kudos to Rob, as I try to do very often on this video. Yeah, man, this is what it is. Like I said, I'm freestyling. Don't really have anything in mind. Didn't see the full game, just saw highlights. So I'm excited about my team. Dennis Schroeder fits in fantastically. Wesley Matthews is starting to find his 3. It's very important because he didn't really start the season as hot as we would like to have seen him start, but he's starting to get it now. You know, so on and so forth. Who else should I be mentioning? Somebody else that needs to be mentioning. LeBron James is just going steady, man. I mean, what can you say? You know, that's the thing about LeBron. He's been so excellent for his entire career. So saying that he played well is like an understatement. I literally take him for granted. Because every night he does something that most people can't do. Every night he puts up numbers that keep him in the all-NBA MVP conversation. Every time he's on the floor, he's simply the greatest player on the floor. So anything that he does is going to be in this spectacular fashion. So he's simply one of the top players to ever play, one of the top athletes to ever sweat, and that is what it is. We happen to have him on our team right now, and because of it, we're in a good position to win many championships. So I don't want it to be lost in the fact that LeBron did something great again, or he did, you know, he puts up certain numbers. You know, he's just LeBron, bro. I don't think anybody needs to be singing LeBron James's praises for his presence to be felt. His game is going to speak for itself. He's greater than your favorite player, basically. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You ain't gotta like it. He's rated ahead of guys, you know, and I'm just happy he's on our team, and I'm happy that he has the character of a person that we like having led our team, because there have been some fantastic great players that have walked across the stage and displayed wonderful talent. But the reality is they weren't the greatest of characters. They didn't display themselves in an unselfish and a world conscious fashion, especially coming from a place of great wealth. And LeBron James has always displayed a certain level of excellence as it pertains to his knowledge and his awareness about what goes on outside, around him and beneath him status-wise. So for that, I pray, I send him great praise and great good energy from this video. I just really appreciate the many things that he's displayed off the court that make him somebody that we're proud to say is our very own. So that's what I got, man. Thank you guys for watching. I got to get back to work. This break has gone longer than it should have. My name's BDF44. I'm out.